The night was quiet, colder than usual, and the streets were almost empty. A single father named Ethan Ward drove his small old car down the lonely road that led toward the edge of town. His daughter Lily, only 6 years old, slept in the back seat with her small backpack hugged to her chest. Ethan glanced at her through the mirror and smiled softly. It had been a long day for both of them, and all Ethan wanted now was to get home, warm some soup, and put her to bed. The road curved near an abandoned park, a place most people did not visit anymore. On the corner stood an old bus stop, rusty, cracked, and forgotten. The streetlight above it flickered like a dying candle. Normally, Ethan never paid attention to that bus stop. It was always empty, always silent. But tonight felt different. As his car rolled past the stop, something caught Ethan's eye. At first, it was just a shadow, two shapes sitting very still on the bench. He slowed down a little, confused. Who would be waiting at a bus stop this late at night? And in this freezing cold? He leaned forward, narrowing his eyes. That's when he saw it. A soft blue glow was coming from the two figures. Not bright, but enough to shine faintly across the cracked sidewalk. Ethan felt a strange chill. What on earth? He drove another few meters past the stop before his mind screamed at him, "Turn around." Something is wrong. Ethan pulled his car to the side of the road and stopped. He stared at the bus stop through the rear mirror. The glowing shapes didn't move at all. Not even a little. For a moment, he wondered if they were mannequins or some kind of prank. But deep down, he knew they weren't. He glanced back at Lily, still sleeping peacefully. His protective instincts rose. He should leave, go home, keep his daughter safe, but something inside him wouldn't let him drive away. He stepped out of the car slowly, breathing in the cold air. It felt heavier tonight, like the world was holding its breath. Ethan walked carefully toward the bus stop, his shoes crunching on the chilly pavement. His heart beat faster with every step. The flickering streetlight buzzed weakly above his head. As Ethan got closer, the two shapes became clearer. They were small, hunched, almost fragile-looking. Their clothes were unlike anything he had ever seen, smooth, glowing slightly, with tiny moving patterns like shifting stars. Then he saw their faces, and his heart froze. The two figures were not human. Their skin was pale silver, almost metallic, and their eyes were large and soft, filled with a deep sadness. Wrinkles lined their faces like they had lived through many long years. They looked old, very old, elderly, even by human standards. Their hands trembled slightly, as if from cold or fear. They stared at Ethan with quiet, helpless eyes. Ethan swallowed hard. "Hello," he whispered. The aliens didn't respond. They didn't even flinch. They only watched him with a mix of fear and hope. The kind of look a lost child might give a stranger when seeking help. Ethan felt something shift inside him. His fear didn't disappear, but something stronger pushed forward compassion. Whoever they were, whatever they were, they looked scared and alone. Suddenly he heard movement behind him. Lily had woken up. She stood by the open car door, rubbing her eyes. "Dad, what are you doing?" she asked softly. Ethan turned quickly. "Stay there, sweetheart," he said gently but firmly. But Lily didn't stay. She walked toward her father and looked at the two aliens. Her innocent eyes widened with worry. "Daddy." They looked sad. The words hit Ethan harder than he expected. From a child's point of view, there was no fear, no confusion, only empathy. He knelt beside her. "They might need help," he admitted. Lily nodded. "Can we help them?" Ethan looked at the aliens again. They were shivering now, though the air wasn't that cold. One of them coughed a weak, dry sound that seemed painful. The other placed a trembling hand on their partner's shoulder. They were alive. They were suffering. And someone, or something, had left them here, the bus stop, silent and isolated, suddenly felt like the center of a mystery much bigger than Ethan had ever imagined. He could turn away and pretend he saw nothing. But the sight of the two old aliens, abandoned like forgotten luggage, tore at his heart. Ethan made a choice. "Come on," he whispered. "Let's see if we can help them." He took a step forward, but a low rumbling sound echoed from the sky. Above, something big was coming, something searching, and the night was about to change forever. Ethan froze under the dim streetlight as the deep rumbling in the sky grew louder. He looked up, his breath catching in his chest. The clouds above the small bus stop began to glow faintly, as if something massive was moving behind them. A strange humming vibration passed through the air, making the metal pole of the bus stop tremble. The two elderly aliens reacted instantly. The one on the left curled forward, placing its hands over its head. The other grabbed its partner's arm with fearful desperation. Their eyes widened, not in surprise, but in recognition. They knew this sound. They knew this presence, and they were terrified of it. Ethan stepped closer protectively, placing his body between Lily and the aliens. He had no idea what was happening, but his instincts screamed at him. Whatever is coming is not friendly. Lily tugged at Ethan's sleeve. "Dad, are they scared?" Ethan nodded slowly, his eyes fixed on the sky. "Yes, very scared." A sharp beam of red light flashed across the clouds, scanning the ground like a giant searching spotlight. It swept across empty fields, old houses, and cracked roads heading straight toward the bus stop. The aliens panicked silently. One of them reached out a trembling hand toward Ethan, not to attack, not to harm, but to beg. The soft blue glow of their clothes flickered like fading fireflies. Their bodies shook with both cold and fear. Ethan had a choice. Leave them here and drive away, or stand with them. He didn't even realize when he made his decision. He raised his hands slowly, palms open, showing he meant no harm. "It's okay," he whispered gently. "I don't know what's happening, but I won't let anything hurt you." The elder alien tilted its head, confused but hopeful. In its large, ancient eyes, Ethan saw something deeply human, trust mixed with fear. The expression of someone who desperately needed help. The red scanning light moved closer. The air crackled. The humming grew louder. Ethan had to move. He grabbed Lily's hand. "Back to the car, now." Lily obeyed without question, sensing the danger. Ethan moved quickly to the aliens, who watched him with trembling confusion. They didn't understand his words, but they understood his urgency. He pointed to his car and motioned with his arms. "Come with me," he urged. "Quick." For a moment, the alien couple looked at each other. They were weak, frightened, exhausted, but something in Ethan's voice reached them. The one with silver markings nodded weakly. With slow, painful steps they stood. Ethan supported one's arm as Lily held the other's hand gently, like helping a grandparent cross a street. They moved toward the car as fast as their fragile bodies allowed. Just as they reached the car, door-dash boomed. A bright red beam hit the ground behind them, sending dust and broken asphalt flying into the air. Lily screamed and covered her ears. Ethan shielded her with his body. The aliens stumbled but didn't fall. They clung to each other, shaking harder now. Ethan's heart raced. He had no idea what that beam was, but he knew one thing for sure. Whoever fired it was not looking for a friendly chat. He pushed the aliens toward the back seat. "Get in, please just sit." The aliens understood his tone and climbed inside, their glowing clothes dimming with stress. Lily climbed in next to them, wide-eyed but brave. Ethan slammed the door shut and jumped into the driver's seat. His hands shook as he fumbled for the keys. The sky behind them lit up bright red again. Another scan. Another search, he whispered to himself. "Come on. Start. The engine coughed. Then roared to life. Ethan hit the gas. The car shot forward, tires screeching on the cold road. The red light chased them for a moment, sweeping over the fields, over the bus stop, over the road behind them. But the fog thickened, and the light lost their trail. Only when the sky finally returned to darkness did Ethan take a shaking breath. He looked into the rear-view mirror. Lily sat between the two aliens, her small hands wrapped around theirs as if comforting lost grandparents. The aliens watched Ethan with silent gratitude and deep fear. Their glowing clothes dimmed, as though running out of energy. Ethan faced the road again, swallowing hard. "What have I gotten myself into?" he whispered, but inside, he knew the truth. He hadn't started trouble. He had answered a call for help, and whatever was coming after these alien grandparents was still out there. Still searching, and it would not stop. Ethan drove with both hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turned white. His breath came in short, uneven pulls. The dark road ahead stretched endlessly, but his eyes flicked again and again to the rear-view mirror. Every time he looked, he expected to see that red searching light or a strange machine rushing behind them. But the road stayed empty. For now, the two alien elders sat quietly in the back seat. Their glow had dimmed to almost nothing, like a dying ember in a fireplace. They leaned into each other weakly. Lily sat between them, holding their hands with the bravery of a child who didn't fully understand fear. "Daddy," she whispered. "Are we safe?" Ethan didn't answer immediately. Safe, he didn't know. Nothing about tonight made sense. Strange glowing beings, red scanning lights from the sky, explosions on the ground. And now two frightened aliens in his back seat. But he couldn't scare Lily. So he forced a small smile. "We're okay for now. I promise." He didn't know if that promise was true. As he turned the car down a quieter road, he lowered the headlights, hoping to draw less attention. The wind outside grew stronger, carrying the faint metallic smell. Ethan recognized it. It was the same smell he noticed the moment before the red beam appeared. He tightened his grip again. The danger wasn't gone. It was following them like a shadow. The aliens tried to communicate. A soft sound came from the back. Ethan peeked into the mirror. The alien grandfather, thin, silver-skinned, with lines like cracked glass across his face, lifted a trembling hand. Slowly, he tapped his own chest twice, then pointed toward the sky behind them. Ethan frowned. You're saying that thing up there is chasing you?" The alien blinked slowly and nodded. Lily gasped. Why would anyone want to hurt grandparents? The alien grandmother lowered her head, her glowing eyes moist with sadness. She made a soft humming noise, broken, painful, almost like a cry. Her fingers tightened around Lily's small hand. Ethan's heart cracked at the sight. If these beings were dangerous, they would have attacked him or Lily by now. But they were weak, scared, helpless. They were running from something. Or someone. But why? Before he could ask anything, his car radio suddenly crackled loudly. "Esuk, HHKKK, gar RBZZZD. Ethan jerked in surprise. He hadn't touched the radio. It was off the entire time. Now the speakers buzzed, hissed, popped, like something was forcing a signal through. Lily covered her ears. "Dad, what is that?" Ethan reached for the dial, but before he could turn it off, a deep, distorted voice echoed through the speakers. "Targets. Lost. Continue. Scan." The aliens froze in terror. Ethan felt his blood run cold. The voice continued. "Broken and electronic. Elder units. Locate. Capture. No witnesses," Lily whimpered. The alien grandmother pulled her close protectively, as if already part of their family. Ethan slammed the radio off, his heart thundering. This wasn't just some random alien search team. Whoever was looking for them wanted to capture them and eliminate anyone who saw them, humans included. Ethan swallowed hard. Who are they?" He whispered to himself. No one answered. The dark car followed him. Ethan forced himself to focus on driving. The radio message faded, but the fear stayed heavy in the air. The moonlight broke through the clouds just enough to show the long, empty stretch of road behind him. He looked again. His breath stopped. Far behind, at the end of the road, a pair of faint headlights appeared. Small at first, then larger, then moving faster. A vehicle, a dark one, and it was coming straight toward them. Ethan's heart thudded. He quickly turned onto a side road, not the one he normally took, but a narrow hidden path that cut behind a line of old barns. The car bounced on the uneven ground as he sped forward. "Dad?" Lily whispered, scared. "Why are you driving so fast?" Ethan forced himself to stay calm. "Just taking a shortcut." But the aliens knew the truth. They clung tightly together, whispering in their soft humming language. The headlights behind them turned too. They were being followed. The arrow ed below Skyhead. The road narrowed even more between tall trees. Ethan pressed harder on the accelerator. Leaves blew across the windshield. Branches scraped the sides of the car. Then he saw it. A metal barricade across the Phaethos. Road. Fresh, new, not something from the town. Someone had set it up recently. Ethan swore under his breath and hit the brakes hard. The car slid, tires screeching, but stopped just in time. Lily held the aliens tightly. The aliens held her back. Ethan stared at the barricade, and that's when he heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the trees, followed by that same mechanical humming sound. They weren't alone. The danger had finally caught up to them. The forest around Ethan grew colder, darker, and strangely quiet. The only sound he heard was the slow mechanical humming coming from the trees, steady, calm, and dangerous. Ethan's breath fogged the air as he locked the car doors. His heart hammered so loudly that he could feel it in his throat. Lily clung to the alien grandmother's arm while the alien grandfather leaned weakly against the back seat. Their soft blue glow flickered like a candle struggling to stay alive. "Dad," Lily whispered, her voice trembling. "Are they going to take us?" Ethan didn't answer. Not yet. He kept staring into the darkness beyond the barricade. The shadows moved. Something or someone was coming closer. He knew they couldn't stay here forever. He also knew running blindly into the forest wasn't safe either. Then, unexpectedly, the alien grandfather touched Ethan's shoulder. Ethan turned. Surprised. The alien pointed at Ethan's chest, then at his own heart, then at the sky. The gesture was slow, weak, but meaningful. He was trying to communicate. "You want to tell me something?" Ethan asked softly. The alien nodded. Lily looked between them with wide, confused eyes. "Dad, I think they want to talk. But how? They didn't speak English. They didn't even know human language." The alien grandmother reached forward and placed a gentle hand on Ethan's forehead. It was soft, warm. And suddenly, Ethan felt a strange sensation, like cool water running through his mind. His vision blurred. Colors swirled. He heard distant voices. Then images flashed before him, clear, strong, emotional. It wasn't dangerous. It was a memory. Their memory. The grandmother wasn't attacking him. She was sharing her past, showing him their truth, their home world, a peaceful Peace. Then Ethan's mind. He saw a beautiful alien world with glowing trees, silver rivers, and tall crystal-like mountains. He saw alien children running and playing under violet skies. He saw families sitting together around warm lights, laughing silently, communicating through touch and emotion. Instead of words. It was peaceful, kind, gentle. He saw the alien grandparents when they were younger, strong, smiling, full of life. They held hands as they walked through shining gardens. Their bond was deep and unbreakable. But then, the memory darkened. The skies turned red. Ships appeared, cold, harsh. Metallic ships that did not belong to their peaceful world. The invaders brought fear. And war. The escape that left them be. Achai and Ethan saw crowds rushing toward evacuation ships. Young aliens carried children. Families pushed elderly relatives forward. But space was limited. Too limited. The alien grandparents struggled to keep up. Their old legs couldn't move fast enough. They tried calling their family, reaching out with trembling hands, but the chaos was too big. Their family didn't abandon them by choice. They were swept away by panic, crying, screaming, reaching back, but soldiers pushed them forward. The ships took off, leaving the old ones behind. The alien grandparents stood alone under the burning sky, watching their home fall apart. Their world was dying, and they were left to die with it. Then a smaller ship flew overhead, a ship not meant for rescue, but for capture. Ethan watched through the memory as cold mechanical beings scanned the area. When the grandparents fled, they were hunted. Captured. Experimented on. Used. Then transferred again. Sent to another planet. And finally abandoned on Earth like unwanted luggage. The reason? Because they were old, weak, and no longer useful. The memory hit Ethan's heart like a knife. The grandmother's hand slipped away from his forehead. Ethan gasped as he returned to the real world, tears stinging his eyes. Lily looked up at him worriedly. "Daddy, what happened?" Ethan swallowed hard. "They went through something terrible." The alien grandmother wiped a tear from Ethan's cheek with her cool, gentle fingers. She wasn't asking for pity. She wasn't begging for rescue. She was only trying to make him understand. They're only. The alien grandfather pointed toward the trees, where mechanical footsteps were now louder and closer. Then he shook his head slowly, painfully. He wasn't afraid of death. He was afraid of being taken again. Ethan understood now. These were not dangerous aliens. They were not criminals. They were not a threat. They were survivors, grandparents, people who had lost everything. And the ones chasing them now, those mechanical hunters, wanted to capture them. Again. To use them again. Ethan clenched his fists. Anger burned in his chest. How could anyone treat elderly beings, even alien ones, with such cruelty? He felt a surge of courage and protectiveness rise inside him. "No," he whispered fiercely. "You're not going back to them. Not while I'm here." The alien grandmother looked at him with deep, emotional gratitude. But the danger was still approaching. The humming in the trees grew louder. Branches cracked. Metal feet crunched the leaves. Ethan blinked away his tears and faced forward. Whatever was coming, he would face it. Because now he knew the truth. These alien grandparents weren't just strangers at a bus stop. They were victims. And he was their only hope. The forest had never felt this frightening before. Tall trees stood like silent guards. Shadows stretched across the road like claws, and the cold air wrapped around Ethan's car like a warning. The mechanical footsteps behind the barricade grew louder, slow, steady, and terrifying. It sounded like metal giants moving through the night. Ethan wiped his face, trying to calm his racing heart. The alien grandparents sat trembling in the back seat. Their glow was so faint now that they almost blended into the darkness. Lily squeezed their hands tightly, as if her small touch could shield them from the danger closing in. "Dad," she whispered shakily. "They're coming." Ethan knew. He heard the metallic breathing, too harsh, unnatural, almost robotic. Whatever was hunting the aliens wasn't human. It wasn't gentle. And it definitely wasn't stopping. He had seconds to act. "Okay. Listen," Ethan said, his voice cracking but determined. "I'm going to get us out of here. All of us. But you need to trust me." The aliens looked at him with wide, old eyes filled with fear and hope. They nodded weakly. Ethan put the car in reverse. Then he heard it. Clang. Something heavy landed on the metal barricade in front of them. The entire structure shook violently. Lily gasped. Ethan slowly lifted his eyes toward the roadblock. A tall silhouette stood on top of it. Metal legs. Metal arms. A huge body covered in dark armor that reflected the moonlight. Its head turned slowly, glowing red eyes scanning the area like a machine searching for prey. One of the mechanical hunters, and it had found them. Ethan didn't wait for it to move. He slammed his foot on the gas pedal. The tires screeched as the car shot backward down the narrow road. Branches slapped against the windows, and the entire car shook as it bounced over rocks and roots. Ethan struggled to keep control, breathing hard and fast. "Hold on," he yelled. The red light from the hunter flashed across the trees behind them. It leaped from the barricade with a heavy crash, landing on the road like a metal beast, ready to chase. The forest echoed with its pounding steps. It was running after them. The forest escape. Ethan turned sharply onto a hidden dirt path. He had driven here once or twice in the past, but never this fast. The path twisted like a snake, narrow and dangerous. But it was the only chance they had. Branches scraped the roof. Mud splashed across the windshield. The car shook violently. But Ethan held on. In the back seat, Lily closed her eyes tightly. The alien grandparents pulling her close with their trembling arms. Their glow flickered like they were losing strength. Ethan's chest tightened. He needed to protect them. But how long could he outrun a metal monster? "Come on, baby," he whispered to the car. "Don't quit on me now." Behind them, something crashed through the trees, loud, heavy, relentless. The hunter was forcing its way through the forest, breaking branches and stomping roots as if nothing could stop it. It was getting closer. Too close. The hidden CLERING suddenly. The dirt path opened into a large, empty clearing. The moonlight washed over the field, revealing tall grass and an old abandoned barn on the far side. The barn looked weak, broken, and forgotten, but Ethan didn't need beauty. He needed cover. "That's it," he muttered. "That'll work." He turned the wheel sharply and sped toward the barn. The car bounced over the rough field, making Lily and the aliens cling to each other for balance. Ethan skidded the car behind the barn, finally stopping in the shadow of the building. He killed the engine. The forest went silent. Everyone held their breath. Ethan crouched low and peered through the broken barn planks. The clearing glowed brightly under the moon. The tall grass swayed gently. For a moment, everything looked calm, safe, but he knew better. Lily whispered, "Dad, did we lose it?" He didn't answer. He scanned the tree line again. Nothing. No glowing eyes. No heavy footsteps. Only silence. Then Dash cracked. A massive branch snapped somewhere in the woods. Ethan flinched. He looked at the aliens. Their glow dimmed again, as if fear drained the last of their energy. The hunter was searching. He didn't have much time. Protko and Ethan turned to Lily and the aliens. "Listen to me," he whispered firmly. "You stay low and stay quiet. I'm going to check outside. Don't move unless I say so." Lily shook her head, terrified. "Dad, no. Don't go." He pulled her into a quick hug. "I'll be right here. I won't go far. I just need to make sure it's not coming." The alien grandfather reached out and placed a trembling hand on Ethan's arm. His glowing eyes begged him not to leave. Ethan placed his hand over the aliens. "I'm not leaving you. I promise." He slowly stepped out of the car, crouching beside the wooden barn wall. The cold wind brushed against his face. The night air carried an eerie metallic scent, the same scent from before danger struck. His eyes scanned the forest. He didn't know how to fight a metal creature. He didn't know how to stop a hunter from another world, but he knew one thing. He would not let those frightened grandparents be taken again. He would protect them, or die trying. Ethan took a deep breath and prepared himself, because something was coming through the trees. Something big, and the real danger was only just beginning. The cold night pressed against Ethan's skin, but he didn't move. He crouched beside the broken barn wall, eyes fixed on the dark forest. The metallic scent drifted again, sharp, heavy, unnatural. Something large pushed through the trees. Branches cracked like brittle bones. The ground shook softly under its weight. Ethan's pulse sped up. His breath came out in short clouds. He had no weapon, no training, no idea how to fight a creature made of metal and hate. But behind him, inside the car, were 3 fragile lives depending on him. 2 frightened alien elders. And his little girl. So he stayed, silent, still, ready. A distant mechanical roar echoed through the forest, then stopped abruptly. The silence that followed was worse. It meant the hunter was listening, searching, calculating. Ethan could almost feel the machine's cold gaze sweeping across the clearing, even if he couldn't see it. He slowly backed toward the car. When he reached it, he opened the door and whispered, "Stay quiet. We're not safe yet." Lily nodded, trying not to cry. The alien grandparents huddled close, their bodies barely glowing now, their energy fading with every moment of fear. Ethan sat on his knees, listening for any sound. The wind blew. The leaves rustled. Then suddenly, a loud metallic roar exploded from the trees. The hunter had found their trail. Ethan forced himself to stay calm. "We need shelter," he whispered. "Somewhere better than this barn." Lily looked up. "Where will we go, Dad?" Ethan scanned the area. His eyes fell on the old barn's side door, half broken, but large enough for them to hide inside. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. "Everyone out," he whispered urgently. He opened the car door gently. The alien grandparents moved slowly, exhausted, weak, shaking. Ethan supported the alien grandfather's arm, while Lily held the grandmother's hand. Together, they moved toward the barn door. Inside, the barn was dark and dusty. Old farming tools hung on the walls. Broken boxes lay scattered on the floor. The air smelled of old wood and rust. Ethan guided them to a corner behind stacks of hay. "Stay here," he whispered. The alien grandmother touched Ethan's hand gently, her eyes full of gratitude and fear. She didn't speak, but she didn't need words. Her expression was clear enough. "You could have left us. But you didn't." Ethan swallowed hard. "I'm not leaving anyone behind." He turned back toward the entrance. A small moment of humankind in Lily sat with the aliens, trying to comfort them. She reached into her tiny backpack and pulled out her old blue blanket, the one she always kept for bedtime. It was warm, soft, and covered in faded stars. "Here," she whispered shyly, placing it over the alien grandmother's shoulders. "It's my favorite blanket. It can keep you warm." The alien grandmother gently touched the blanket, her fingers trembling. Even her dim glow brightened a little. She placed her forehead softly against Lily's head, a gesture of affection from her species. Lily smiled weakly. "It's okay. You're safe with us." Ethan watched this from across the barn, and emotion surged inside his chest. His little girl wasn't afraid of them. She wasn't confused by their strange appearance. She only saw 2 elderly beings who needed help. In this moment, this quiet, peaceful moment, Ethan understood something important. Humanity wasn't just about strength or power or survival. It was about kindness, compassion, heart. And tonight, even in the face of danger, a small child showed more humanity than any machine ever could. The hunter arrived, then the barn wall shook violently. Dust drifted from the ceiling. Something heavy landed outside. Ethan tensed. A loud metal stomp echoed across the ground. The hunter was here, and it wasn't hiding anymore. It scanned the barn with a bright red beam. The same scanning light Ethan had seen at the bus stop. The beam moved slowly across the wooden planks, searching for signs of life. Ethan pressed himself flat against the wall. Holding his breath, the alien grandparents dimmed their glow entirely, becoming nearly invisible in the darkness. Lily covered her mouth with her hands as tears slid down her cheeks. Silently, the red light swept past them and suddenly paused. Ethan's heart stopped. The beam reversed. Had focused on the corner where the aliens were. Hiding. The hunter had detected something. "Stay behind me," Ethan whispered fiercely. He rose to his feet, stepping between the machine and the elders. His body shook, but he stood tall. He wasn't strong. He wasn't armed. But he was not moving. If the machine wanted the aliens, it would have to go through him. The barn door creaked open, and a massive shadow stepped inside. Ethan exhaled sharply. This was it. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew this. Human kindness had brought him this far, and he wasn't about to stop now. The barn door trembled on its rusty hinges as the massive metal hunter stepped inside. Its glowing red eyes swept across the darkness, burning through shadows, searching for any sign of life. The sound it made, half growl, half mechanical hiss, echoed through the wooden structure like a warning. Ethan stood in front of the alien grandparents, his arms spread protectively. He felt small, weak, and terrified. But he didn't move. The cold air pressed against his skin as if reminding him of the danger he faced. The hunter paused, its red eyes focused directly on Ethan. The giant machine tilted its head as if analyzing him, this unarmed human, standing against a weapon built for war. The machine didn't understand courage. It didn't understand love. It didn't understand why someone would risk everything for strangers who weren't even from the same world. But Ethan's fear didn't matter. He wouldn't let anyone harm those grandparents again. Not after everything they survived. Behind him, Lily held the alien grandmother's hand, whispering, "Daddy will protect us." Over and over through trembling tears, the hunter's chest glowed red as it prepared to strike. Ethan clenched his jaw. "Not today," he whispered. Just as the hunter lifted its metal arm to fire, a blinding blue light exploded from outside the barn. Ethan shielded his eyes. The hunter froze mid-attack. The barn walls glowed bright as the light grew stronger. A soft humming filled the air, different from the hunter's harsh mechanical noise. This one felt alive, warm, gentle. The alien grandmother gasped. Her glow brightened suddenly, as if recognizing the sound. Lily's eyes widened. "Daddy, what is that?" Ethan stared toward the broken barn window. A ship descended from the clouds, sleek, silver, quiet. Its engines hummed like singing wind. The grandparents. People had arrived. At last. The RECUED. Barn roof shook as several smaller figures floated down from the ship. They were similar to the elders, same silver skin, same glowing clothes, but younger and stronger. Their blue light shined brighter than the moon. One of them stepped forward and raised a hand. A soft wave of energy rippled across the barn. The hunter screeched. The glowing red lights on its body flickered wildly. Then boom. The machine collapsed onto the ground with a heavy crash. Powerless. The threat was gone. Ethan let out a long breath he didn't know he was holding. His knees weakened with relief. Lily cried softly, hugging the alien grandmother tightly. The alien grandfather placed a trembling hand on Ethan's shoulder, his eye glow soft with gratitude. The younger aliens hurried forward. They surrounded the grandparents, checking them gently, their expressions full of worry and love. One of them spoke in soft musical tones, comforting them. When they turned to Ethan, their eyes softened. They understood. This human had protected their elders when he didn't have to. He had risked his life for them. He had given them kindness in their darkest moment. The leader stepped forward and placed his hand on Ethan's forehead, just like the grandmother did earlier. A wave of warmth filled Ethan's chest. He felt their emotion, their thankfulness. Their respect. Then the leader projected a simple image into Ethan's mind. The grandparents safe, loved, free. Ethan smiled weakly. You're welcome, he whispered. The tearful Godbthian grandmother stepped forward. She touched Lily's face gently, her glowing fingers trembling with emotion. Lily wrapped her arms around the grandmother, crying into her chest. Will they be okay now? Lily asked. The alien grandmother nodded softly. The grandfather approached Ethan next. His old, tired eyes met Ethan's in a silent goodbye. He placed both hands on Ethan's chest right over his heart. Then he bowed. It wasn't just a gesture. It was the highest form of respect in their culture, something Ethan could feel through the glow that passed into him. Ethan swallowed hard, tears filling his eyes. Take care of each other, he said quietly. The grandparents stepped back. The younger aliens guided them gently toward the ship's light beam. The grandmother looked back one last time, her eyes shimmering like tiny stars. Lily waved through her tears. Bye, I'll miss you. The grandmother placed a hand on her own heart, then pointed at Lily, a promise, a symbol of eternal gratitude. The light swallowed them softly. The ship rose into the clouds, glowing like a silver moon. Then it disappeared, leaving the field silent once more. After the assailants, Ethan picked Lily up and held her close. She buried her face in his shoulder, still shaking. Ethan kissed her forehead gently. They're safe now, he whispered. We did the right thing. Lily sniffed. Because we helped them? And nodded. Helping someone who needs it. That's what makes us human. Lily smiled a small, sad smile. Humanity. ****, yeah. Ethan laughed softly despite everything. Yeah, humanity. ****, yeah. They walked back to the car, hand in hand. The night felt calmer, now warmer, as if the world itself knew something good had happened. Ethan took one last look at the sky. Somewhere out there, 2 alien grandparents were safe, because a single father stopped his car that night. Because he cared. Because he was human. And the galaxy would never forget it.